This week's discussion is designed to help, as we begin to grasp the concept of a worldview, we recognize that we all have one. It is like a pair of glasses through which we see the world. Though we may not be able to easily identify a person's worldview, it is ever present below the surface, profoundly shaping a person's values and behavior. Our understanding of its reality should affect how we interact with others. The Christian worldview is more than just a feel-good emotional response to life. It is a belief system that can and should be lived out and defended in our culture, where so many other ideas compete for the minds and hearts of people. It is critical that we become intimately familiar with the truth of Christ in order that we might recognize the many false claims to truth and earn the right to share the truth of the Scriptures with others. The best way to share the truth of God is to love God by knowing the Scriptures and being obedient to them, and also to love others. It is how we live and how we love our friends and our enemies that will show the world who we are. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and truth matters. We demand truth in so many areas of life, and yet it becomes fuzzy in cases of faith. And we need to know what we believe and why, and we need to be able to pass that on to others with gentleness and respect in a way that honors God and also honors that other person. The remainder of our classes will focus on discovering more about the foundation of the Christian worldview and how we can live it out by understanding how others think, as well as learning about the pressing social and moral issues of our day. So just a couple of questions for you. Does what you think, do, and say reflect your worldview? Would others agree with you? This is a question I just want you to think about. I want you to just take a second to think, okay, am I living out the Christian worldview? Would other people who don't know me well, would they say, yeah, that's someone who's walking with Jesus, that's someone who's living out the worldview of Christ? So just ponder that for a second. So this is one for you to answer if you're willing. Have any of you ever been in a situation where people were expressing views that were not necessarily Christian? What are some of the things they were suggesting? So what are some things you've heard in conversation, maybe even here, but certainly someplace else, where people were espousing views that were not? Yeah, so they were explaining Hinduism, right? And so that's obviously not from a Christian worldview. It was on our trip to Minnesota in 2019, in February of 2019. We were at a Hindu temple, and a couple came in and engaged, and the leader engaged. Who was there? You were there, right? Yeah. This couple in a conversation, and they weren't sure what they believed or why they believed, right? And that's so true for so many Christians too. And it can't be. I mean, we need to know how are we going to tell somebody else about Jesus if we don't know what we're saying. So what are some of those things that you've heard people suggesting? An example for me. Yeah.
I would say like habit is a lot of people respond positively, and actually I
Wow, everything's meaningless. No meaning in relationship. We praying for that friend. That's an opportunity. I can't think of anyone better than your joyful soul to intercede for you. Anything else you've heard out there? I just read a thing on Facebook today. I won't mention who it is. That put up this parable, and the parable basically was saying, whatever it is, what you think it is. There was an argument going on between animals about was the grass blue or is the grass green? Well, if you think it's blue, then it's blue. And that's pretty popular in our culture. That it is whatever you believe. Anything else? How might we be able to engage someone who rejects the Bible and suggests that the universe and everything in it did not come from God? Let's make that a little bit more broad. How can we, when someone engage people in spiritual conversations about Jesus and about the Bible and God? Yeah.
I've had a lot of conversations just talking about what's going on in the world and letting that feed into conversation because a lot of times they feel hopeless or they don't know where the world's going and it leads into what our purpose in life is. Comfort and hope
It's easy, even as a follower of Christ, right, to be afraid. Like what's going to happen with this Delta variant? Just today, that friend's brother-in-law who is an ICU COVID. That's why we have this hope. Uh, Hebrews says, as an anchor for our soul. We have this hope of Christ, this hope of heaven, as an anchor for our soul. And yeah, that's a great way to get into a conversation like that. How else can you engage people in conversations? Part of what this class is about, a big part of what this class is about, is to both equip you to have those conversations, but also spur you on and encourage you to have those conversations. And I'll tell you what, if you're going to be on a college campus next year, late night conversations with some pizza or some popcorn or something like that, they are common, happening all the time. So winsomely and with gentleness and respect, tell people about the hope that lies within. Do you understand this idea of moral relativism? What is, if I say something is relative, what do I mean? I don't mean like that. If I say something is relative, what does that mean? Right, yeah, you can interpret it the way you want, and it just depends on the situation or depends on your point of view, that sort of thing. So the idea of moral relativism is that morals are relative to the person, to the situation, um, and to the belief system, or beliefs are relative to whatever culture you're from or whatever you think is right. So what's the problem with moral relativism? Or is there a problem? back to I want to say something, but what do you want to say?
The last year we talked about how truth isn't relative, and so our relativism, or if truth isn't relative, then
It's all almost a contradiction. Right? Remember talking about the law of non-contradiction, two contradictory things can't be true in the same sense. Or the law of the excluded middle, that something isn't. Those are kind of applicable to this moral relativism. And oftentimes, relativists have a different moral code for what they do than what their moral code is for what others do to them. All of y'all have driven a car, right? And I am guilty of this. I probably shouldn't admit it. But I will get angry at another driver for doing something that I do to other drivers. That doesn't make any sense, does it? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And that's a comical example, but relativism can be deadly, can be spiritually problematic. Again, I think once you get into an argument, you've lost the opportunity, you might as well just shut it down. But if you can engage people in conversation, in respectful conversation, that can be a treasure trove of opportunity. So do you have any questions from this lesson, from what we've studied so far, something that we didn't quite understand? Okay, so I'm going to give you, I said about 15 minutes, so I'm going to give you about 15 minutes to study for your test, and you'll have some time for it beginning, I think tomorrow. We'll look at some video clips and you'll tell me what the worldview is, and we'll do that for several days, but we'll intersperse that with time for you to study. So, you'll get time each day between now and next Wednesday. Questions? Okay, that's it.
Remember ACT? What time ACT? Like 7. Like you're